there guys, welcome back to another episode of Spartan Crew Gaming, and today we are going to be talking about Middle-earth Shadow of War, and what we're kind of hoping to see from this gameplay reveal here in the next 3 to 2 days, whenever this video gets uploaded. But nonetheless, I really want to talk about what I want to see in the game and what it can improve from its predecessor. So lately I've been going back and playing Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, which is a great game, but I have logged around 74 hours. I've done 2 playthroughs of the game, I believe. Yeah, I think I've done 2 full playthroughs, I think. I'm not sure, but I've played 74 hours. I've definitely played the game quite a bit. I have explored the Nemesis system quite a lot, and, you know, after a while, I kind of was starting to get bored with it, and it wasn't just because the Nemesis system wasn't working or anything. The Nemesis system worked fine, but I was just, the orcs, I wasn't starting to remember them as much. It wasn't as fresh as it was the first time. There weren't many side quests to do. There's no characters you could go and hang out with. There's no city of lively people. It's all these fortresses full of orcs, and I don't know, and even those, it didn't feel alive as much as it used to, and the world feels empty in Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor, now that I've played it so much, and it really makes you realize some of the flaws the game has when you look at a game like Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I haven't played this game, of course, but I've been watching content from it, and the world is full of very unique enemies, very, very cool visuals, and very beautiful landscape, and it seems like there's a lot to do. There are abandoned camps and stuff just like in Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor, but the world is much larger and with many more enemies to fight. And that is one thing that in Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor, the first game, you had like 3 different kinds of enemies. You had your trolls, or your Caragors, the Caragors, the Graugs, and your orcs, and then you had different kinds of orcs, but the variation wasn't great. Now in this game, of course, it looks like we're going to be having much more in Shadow of War. We're going to have trolls and orcs and all kinds of stuff, Balrogs, dragons, the Nazgul, and it looks like we're going to have a much more fleshed out story, which I hope is the case, because that was another problem with Middle-earth Shadow of War. I was playing the game, and just some of the flaws of the story really stood out to me. The way they cut the cutscenes, and how the characters talked, I'm like, oh no, they really do need to improve the story for the second game. What really did make the game awesome was the Nemesis system, and it was really cool for the first, 30 or 40 hours, but then after that, once you've completed the game a few times, it does kind of get old, so hopefully the second game will really improve on that, and it seems like they are. We're going to have the follower system, we're going to be having environment updates with the Nemesis expansions, and the game's seeming to take a much more RPG-esque route, and hopefully we're going to get to explore places like Minas Morgul, or Minas Ithil, as it's called in the game right now, and we see it before it's Minas Morgul. Hopefully we'll be able to see beautiful landscapes and desolate landscapes, of Mordor and Minas Morgul. Hopefully that will be the case, and the world will be much bigger, and that is a problem I had with Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. The game world, even though it is open world, was quite small. You had 2 sections to go in, and they weren't huge. You could literally walk across the map probably in a good 10 to 5 minutes if you wanted to, especially if you're shadow jumping from orc to orc. It was a very small open world, and personally, I like bigger open worlds. Of course, you want those open worlds to be full of things to do, and hopefully this game will deliver that. Also, hopefully the story will be better, like mentioned before. Now, what is giving me a lot of hope that Shadows of War will do better is they really do seem to want to up the ante with the Nemesis system. It's going to be changing our landscapes, and we're going to have Nemesis fortresses and followers. But what also gets me pretty excited is the fact that they mentioned mythic gear sets and new weapons and things. It sounds like this game's taking a much more RPG-esque route. I was on the forums a lot for Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, and there's this one forum, I can't remember who created it, if it was me or some other people, but we were like, what do we want to see in Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor 2? And so many people were commenting on it, and hopefully the developers actually looked at that and hopefully took some inspiration from there, because there's some great ideas, and hopefully this game is going to really be showing off some more RPG elements, like, again, Horizon Zero Dawn. It has a lot of things, like collecting different outfits you can get for your character, and really unique enemies. Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor had the Nemesis system, and so will Shadow of War. And if you do that, and you have Shadow of War with the enemies that remember you, and you have unique enemies and a big open world full of things to do and a memorable story, then this game's going to hold the attention of gamers for a long time. And, most certainly me. So I cannot wait for the gameplay reveal on March 8th, guys. I'm super excited to see this. I hope the story is much more fleshed out, we get a much bigger open world, and hopefully we get to do some much more RPG-esque things while still having the awesome action combat of the first game. But hopefully this game will stay fresh for a lot of hours to come, and the Nemesis system will always be giving us some new stuff. And hopefully, and one of my dreams is this, that they'll actually allow you to, hopefully they'll update the game afterwards with free updates that update the Nemesis system, like adding new textures here and there for new orcs, so there's more varied orcs, or adding some voice lines down the road as free DLC, like, oh, hey, here's a Nemesis system update for free, and hopefully, since I think people say Warner Brothers have an issue with DLCing everything, hopefully that kind of stuff won't be DLCs. We already are seeing that with the Nemesis expansions, but hopefully we'll be getting some free Nemesis expansions that will make the game more unique to all of us, and we'll each have different stories to tell of different Nemesises that we get to fight in Middle-earth Shadow of War. I cannot wait to see the gameplay on March 8th, guys, and those are just my thoughts of what the game can improve. So hopefully bigger open world, better, more memorable story, really memorable Nemesises, and just a world full of more, I don't know, it doesn't have to be full of more life, but just more. Well, yeah, it does have to be more lively. A more alive world that doesn't feel like it's just a bunch of orcs and fortresses and then stuff in between that's called land. I want there to be a lot of things to do. And more people to interact with. And this looks like we're going to be getting that with Menace Ithil and all of the Gondorians there. So guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And please tell me what you are excited about in Middle-earth Shadow of War. This is your commentator, Spartan Crew Gaming, signing out.